Right, hello everyone again. We're doing another live. We're going to be doing a general Q&A and we're going to be discussing things about how to generate work when you first start going out on your own, in between breaks and no questions. So what we'll do, I'm going to bring up the questions on the screen as we go and we'll answer them. Theo Hicks, hi, how are you? Can we do a mic check with you, Theo? Can you hear me okay? Is there any interference? Hope you've all enjoyed Mother's Day. Grab yourself a beer. So if anyone could confirm that the mic's working okay, that'd be great. Just to get going. Brilliant, thank you. Simon, hi Adam, love the channel. Love your delivery style. Thanks, Simon. Really appreciate that, mate. I appreciate everyone's support. And Theo, thank you for confirming that. So if you've got any questions about starting up on your own, taking that jump, please fire away. Mad Professor, good evening, all from the Isle of Wight. Good evening. We got Plugs joined us. Good evening to you. Hope you're well. Steve Davies, hello. Loud and clear. Perfect. Thank you. A better start this week. So that's good. Martin, evening, Adam. Hope all is well. All is well, thank you. I hope you've had a nice day and a nice weekend. If anyone's got any topics that they want to talk about or questions to ask, just put them up and we'll have a discussion between us about it. Chris, hi mate. What marketing do you do? So with regards to marketing, it's evolved over time. Basically, when I started out on my own, I had no idea about any sort of marketing. And this is where I wanted to sort of start with, is if you're going out on your own, you get approached by all sorts of companies that find out, you've registered a limited business. So I got hounded by yellow pages online or whatever it's called. Don't go with them. That's a waste of money. They'll try and rip you off of a website that won't work. 118 directories, that's a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. Local magazines, they'll contact you an awful lot. Personally, in my area, that again is a complete waste of time, depending on your client base. But for me, they're very expensive and not a lot of rewards. So I just started hitting the internet, set up a Google business page, very important. That takes a little while to set up because you need verification codes sent through from Google, but definitely worthwhile. Then you can build that Google business page up. Then I jumped on. I tried Trust the Trader. Personally, I don't rate Trust the Trader. I got no work for it, and they sold it to me like it was the best thing since sliced bread when it wasn't. So then I moved over to Check a Trade, and I've been with them for about 7 years, and it's proved to be an absolute winner. Over time, gradually, you build up those reviews, and I've got, I normally get 1 or 2 inquiries a day through Check a Trade, so I can sort of pick and choose what I do. Google and social media are my best work generators. Theo, what is the one piece of advice you'd give to someone starting the trade? Theo, you talking about what sort of age bracket are we talking about as well? Are we talking about like an adult going into the trade or a youngster starting out? Joe, all great on sound. Thank you. Will, got any tips for someone who's early 30s in the middle of changing career to become a spark? It's very difficult, Will, at your sort of age, because I imagine you've got a lot of financial commitment as well. So you're not going to be able to survive on an apprentice wage, I imagine. So what I would probably do if I was in your shoes is I'd try and approach a company, not a sole guy like me, but maybe someone who's got multiple guys on the books, and see if you can get on there as like a labourer or a Sparky's mate and build up some experience and go through your qualifications that way. That way you can still earn a decent-ish sort of wage, but it won't be obviously as good as a Spark. So that's what I would recommend. Great channel. How do you perform your EICR? Joe, with regards to how do I perform an EICR, do you mean like literally how I do it? So like, for example, what I would do is I'd enter the property and I'd carry out a load of inspections first of all, get any visuals down, because that's going to give me a sort of indication to what to expect through my test results. So if I see through my inspections that there's been a lot of modifications done, a lot of additions, looking at them, you'll be able to roughly tell if it's been done by a Spark or a DIYer. And then that would depend on how much more I inspect. And then I will take off the board cover and then I'll go through all my testing, etc., if that's what you mean. Theo, yes, an adult, really difficult because like I was saying about the financial side of things, being an adult, trying to get into the game, I would try and, do the night courses and join a larger company that's looking, that do big sites, for example, that are looking for extra staff, and work as a mate and just prove yourself. And they might put you through your courses, you don't know. Do you do any part of electrical? Do you do any other part of electrical trade like rewires? Bobby, I'll be honest, I don't do rewires now just out of choice because where I've established myself now, I can sort of pick and choose what sort of work I want to do. And rewires isn't really something that I like doing anymore. I've done it in my younger days, but chasing out walls is just not for me anymore. So I try and stay away from it. Sav, good evening to you. Yes, I've had a good week. I hope you have also. We've got 31 people on today, guys. That's absolutely brilliant. Keep firing the questions away. Seeing a recent YouTube video where struggling to get a new cable through ducting, can you coat the cable with anything like silicone lubricant spray? So yeah, there is some lube called Yellow, and I do have some. I just didn't have it on the van. I don't keep it on the van. So when I used to work in HV, I'd be cable pulling all the time, and we'd always be using stuff called Yellow, which does help. Okay, Chris, so is YouTube worth doing? You get much paid partnerships off the back of it? If I'm honest with you, again, I started YouTube purely to generate work, and I wanted to get into EV and sell that service. And what I found was a lot of clients didn't know anything about EV and EV charging. So I thought I'd put together some videos that maybe might explain it, and I could direct my clients to the channel so they could see what maybe charger would suit them, because I was doing such a big sales pitch all the time. And then from there, it sort of evolved into becoming a bit of a hobby, and I really enjoy making videos now. So it's down to you. It's a lot of work, a lot of commitment, but if you enjoy making videos, then great. And you're going to have to be absolutely relentless with it. And with regards to paid partnerships, I don't do any paid partnerships whatsoever. I do generate a little bit on YouTube, the partners program, but it's pocket money. So I do get offered to do the paid partnership sponsored videos, but I turn them down. Just about to do the EV course with Napit. Is it worth getting the EV stuff, and do you think it will be long term? Love your videos, by the way. Firstly, thank you for liking my videos and watching them. Really appreciate that. So is it worth getting into the EV stuff? The only reason I talk to lots of other Sparks, and I find that a lot of them get an EV charger once in a blue moon, really. It's not like it was when the grants were about. And that's because a lot of people are going with people like Octopus and getting their installs done for cheap. It's cheap materials, it's cheap chargers, etc., etc. You get a cheap install. If it's a simple one anyway, then they'll do it. Otherwise, it'll get passed on, and that's when guys like me pick it up. But because of my social media presence, I generate a lot of work through that. So I've had other people are struggling to get EV charging work, but that's just the people that I've spoke to. Is it worth it? If it's a direction you want to go down, then yes, of course. If you're looking to build a whole business on EV charging and you're not prepared to do an awful lot of marketing, it won't work. You have to put in a lot of effort. There's a lot of competition. Is there any company you'd recommend for EV courses? So not really, because I've done one of a local company called Brian Scadden in Portsmouth, and it was a City and Guilds course. It depends where you are. I know a lot of people go directly with like Napit or the NIC to do their courses. So that'd probably be my best bet. That's what I mean. Thank you for that. I do the same. It's always good to talk to others who get their view. No problem, mate. No problem. So anyway, going back to generating work and that sort of thing, there's something called lead generation. I absolutely hate lead generation because there's these companies I feel basically are robbing tradesmen. Yes, because I just don't like the way they advertise, because they advertise to the customer that they're going to find them a tradesman, which they do, but they do not tell the customer that they charge the tradesman an extortionate fee in order to get their contact details, and they're not guaranteed to win it. And that is the reason I hate lead generation, is because I did do it in the past, and I just hated the fact that the customer didn't know, and they didn't like it when they found out that they'd paid a third party to basically get me. And also the fact that 3 or 4 or 5 other guys paid a fee also and didn't win the work and at a loss. So I sort of want to, if you can avoid lead generation, please do, because everyone loses apart from the lead generation company. I really dislike them. And I also found, because I don't care about this, to be honest, I don't care about saying this, my builder, at the time when I looked into this and I inquired with them, you didn't have to be an electrician to advertise as an electrician on there. And I thought that was completely wrong, because they were selling the service to the customer that electricians would carry out the work without it necessarily being electricians, and I hated that. Simon, how have you found the extra security alarms you fitted to the van doors? So basically, we've had bad weather, we've had loads of rain, we've had storms. I've had no false alarms whatsoever, so that's brilliant. I found they're still very reactive. I do forget that I've got them on sometimes, so if I haven't turned them off and I unlock my van with a central lock-in, that's enough to set them off. They're very sensitive. Look, it's a cheap solution as a potential deterrent. You can't look at the product and be like, this is the best thing ever, because it's not. There's a lot more advanced, expensive security systems out there, and I bought it purely as a potential deterrent, or give me the opportunity to hear it, to get out there, to react, rather than not knowing anything about it. But so far so good. Nothing's been, I've had it broken into. I haven't had any false alarms, so I can't moan too much. How much are they? The alarms, they're about, you get like the twin pack, it's about 180 quid or something, and that's what I'd advise if you've got 2 big side doors. And they do smaller ones as well, which you can put on the front doors, or if you've got a smaller van, then the smaller ones will be suitable as well, I believe. And they can do them in different colors as well. Simon, that's great news. Yeah. Let's go with that one. It's all about layers of security. Yeah, absolutely. Look, it is just another layer. If they're going to get in, they're going to get in. There's like ruthless gangs out there, and there's nothing you can do about that. But if it's just like the local yobbo who's chancing it, it might just deter him, and that's worth doing. Chris, you're getting into solar? No, I'm not, Chris. Not until they ditch this MCS rubbish. I'm not going through that. I'm not jumping through hoops. I'm totally against it. The amount of blokes that I know have been stressed out to the eyeballs trying to get that sorted out, I'm not interested. I think it should be scrapped, if I'm honest with you, because to me, solar is just another electrical job. I just don't get it. There's nothing complicated about it. It's a really simple install. What's your favourite EV charger at the minute? I'm going through a phase of quite liking the what's it called? The Omi ePod. Because it's just so easy. It's ridiculous. You haven't got to phone up and commission anything. You can just commission the whole thing even without an app. It's unbelievable. Dead simple install. You haven't got to worry about Wi-Fi settings, Wi-Fi connectivity. I'm doing one tomorrow, actually. I'm quite looking forward to it. So probably that. And I've got a very controversial video coming up soon. Not about the OMI though. Martin, I've invested in one of the van door canopy. Quality bit of kit for all this rain we have. Martin, yes. So that canopy is probably the best thing I've ever bought. It's incredible. And especially like for me, I work outside my van every day, all day. So it's been an absolute no-brainer, and I do recommend that. I wish I had a commission link. I'd have made a fortune by now. What charger was it? The OMI E-Pod. Have you ever thought about an electric van? Yeah, I have thought about an electric van, but they're not. Sorry, excuse me. Got something in my eye. They don't have the range that I'm happy with yet, and I'm not in a position to buy another van. So the van I've got, I own. I don't really want to be getting myself in debt unnecessarily. I'm quite happy if I can avoid any sort of additional outgoings. I'm going to do that. My van's absolutely fine. So yes, I thought about an electric van. Do I need one? No. You're doing commercial EV? I do commercial on like small companies, but not on the scale of like McDonald's car park or anything like that. And I've got more of them coming up actually, so I'll get videos. What is the one thing you hate about fitting wiring EV chargers? Theo, I think I don't really hate any of it. Hate's a bit of a strong word, but the bit I don't like the most is probably running the cable, just because I find it boring. And that's why I use the spit gun and the D-line clips, just to bang it out as quick as I can. Then I can do the bits that I do like doing, which is the consumer unit side and setting up the charger. So I'd say there's 3 parts to an EV install: the consumer unit, the charger, and the cable run. So get the cable run out of the way, and then the rest of it's nice. Joe, what was the name of the security device you fitted to the van? They're called Van Guardian. I've done a whole video on it. So if you look on my channel, you'll see a video about me talking about tool prevention. They're on there, and there's a discount code on there as well. Check it out. I'm going to try this. Already? Hi to you. Good evening. I hope you're well. Very well, thank you. How are you? Have you seen the new EV cable arm mechanism for curbside charging? If so, what are your thoughts? I have seen it. I saw it on LinkedIn actually. What are my thoughts? I don't know. There's several things to think about, isn't it? Like aesthetically, it's not nice. You're always going to have the critics who are going to say like, oh, kids can swing on it and, things can get caught on it or whatever. If I'm honest, I think the best solution I've seen so far is it's a company called Kirby something, where they cut a channel across the pathway in like a retractable slot and you just push your cable in. I think that's the best way because that eliminates all hazards. I think that's the best one on the market that I've seen. The overhanging thing, it might work. I don't know. I can just see potential flaws in it and people not liking the look of it. Good. Pleased. Matthew, evening, Gov. Which other charges do you get called back about most? I tell you what, I'm getting a little flurry of zappies at the minute, and I've heard that other people are as well. I've also heard that there's been like a bit of a software update which has been causing some problems. So unfortunately for me, recently I've had quite a few zappy callbacks. Have you done any videos on a paperwork study installing EVs, such as contacting DNO, building control, etc.? No. So basically, building control, we all know how to do that. If you're with a competent person scheme, you'll be fully aware of how to do that through their software. Basically, you won't have an issue with that. In regards to the DNO, that varies between area as well, and I'm sort of reluctant to put it up because where it is different in different areas, people are going to find it's going to cause a potential argument, and that's something I'm trying to avoid. But I suppose I could give like a basic sort of walkthrough, but it's pretty easy. Matt, would you ever get into solar? As mentioned before, the only reason I'm not in solar now is because of that NCS. If that wasn't a thing, if they sort of ditched it a little bit, then yes, definitely. It's all the admin side of things I'm not interested in. It's too much, and that MCS scheme, I really hate it. It's just money making, like most of these things are. Marky, how are you? Evening to you too. Thank you so much for helping. No problem. Simon, what's your favourite tool excluding the spit gun? I don't know. Do you know what? I've got some I've got a completely different set of tools that I'd like to show you guys maybe. When I used to do HV, I had a completely different set of tools, things that you may never seen, such as like a hacking knife. And it's an art and a skill, basically. You'd use the hacking knife and a hammer to cut the lead from what's called a pilt cable. I used to love that. So I've got, maybe I should show you some other set of tools. But otherwise, favourite set of tools, I'm not really sure. I'll have a think about that and get back to you. You always put an additional consume unit in. Chris, I normally do, if I'm honest with you, because when you work on the existing one, you're kind of taking responsibility for it, which I'd rather not do, because we've all been in a situation where you carry out a job and then the next week there's something wrong on a different circuit and you're the last one in, you're going to get the blame. So there's a couple of things. One, I like putting in a separate consume unit because I know my installation is going to be complete, good, up to regs. And secondly, my consume unit is going to be metal. Normally the other ones aren't. If something goes wrong with the existing install, that's going to have nothing to do with me, and I'll explain that to my customers. And it just sort of makes my job a bit easier with regards to buying materials also, because I can have like a job lot of gear that I can allocate to a job, every job nearly. Simon, love a tool video. Okay, I'll do it. Matthew, what are your views on bi-directional charging, vehicle to grid? I know like Indra's carrying out some tests on this at the minute in different parts of the country, aren't they? I've spoke to customers about this, and a lot of them aren't really keen about it, to be honest, powering their house off their car. I don't know a whole lot about it. I'd like to learn a little bit more. I don't think I don't know. I think it's a good sort of temporary solution in the event of maybe like a power cut. Maybe it would be best then, but I don't like the idea of it just running your house off your car on sort of quite a regular basis. But that might be down to my lack of knowledge. Chris, why did you stop doing HV? Basically, I lost my job. I was on a 0-hour contract at the time, and they just ran quiet on work. I'd done it for like 6 years, loved it. And I just sort of left after that and decided to go on my own. And I knew I couldn't really work for myself in HV without subcontracting, and I didn't want to do that. See you soon. Take care. My mate's been an electrician for over 10 years and got trained up on a solar a year ago. He said the amount of work involved is just giving quote is very time consuming. It is, it's huge. It's a huge amount of time. I'm just not interested. I think it's okay. Like I know companies that are doing this and they've got like government grants, like government contracts, and that's fine. But for me as an individual, I think it's just going to take up too much time. And there's a lot of aftercare involved as well, especially if you're doing battery storage, which I don't have the time to allocate to. Just signed up to do the Indra course. Marky, yeah, It's worth doing. I get quite a few leads through Indra because not everyone can do it. So it is worth doing, and it doesn't take long. Have you ever thought about installing fire alarm systems and maybe BFE? I haven't. Do you think it's worth looking into? Matthew, would you ever be looking for an apprentice? For an apprentice, you mean, I imagine? Not at the time being. I'm at sort of a stage where I'm not looking for additional responsibility. I'm really enjoying just doing my work, making videos, spending time at home. That's what I'm quite happy doing. I'm just not looking for extra responsibility and stress at the moment. Hey mate, why do you always use 6mm EV Ultra rather than 4mm? Basically because I buy big drums of 6mm EV Ultra and I don't want to carry multiple drums. That's it. Graham, would you recommend NAPIT over NIC? I'm going to be biased towards NAPIT because I'm with them and I've had no bad experiences. So I can't say too much about the NIC because I haven't had any experience with them, but what I've heard is they're a bit of a ball ache. Done the Rolex one, took about 15 minutes. Yeah, probably don't install Rolex, so you're going to get callbacks. Chris, fair enough. Yeah, simple as that. I've got no other answer. Marky recommends NAPIT as well. Graham, so 2 votes for NAPIT. What's your thoughts on classroom versus online courses when trained to be a spark? Classroom all day long. I think you need, even if it's just theory, you can talk to people and bounce ideas off each other. When you're doing any sort of online course, I personally think that you can get it wrong and you can try again. I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same as being inside. I don't like classrooms, don't get me wrong. I absolutely hate them. But I think it's better than doing online because you can really interact with someone and find out the things that you need to know. You use a small EV board that you can use 10mm tails on. Also, I have a Project EV single phase to install a 3-phase board. Do I need to put CT clamps on each phase? So I don't use 10mm tails on any of my installs. I have used 16s, I admit, but not 10s. And normally, I only use them if it's like a BG board. All the fuse box EV consumer units I install, they've all got 25mm tails comfortably, so you can do that. Flexi tails anyway. And so that's that sort of answered. And you have a Project EV single phase to install on a 3-phase board. Do you need to put CT clamps on each phase? No, just the phase you're using. Funny that someone else told me not to fit Rolex. Yeah, I've done a few sort of jobs where I've taken Rolex out, so people have different opinions. Apparently their new ones are all right. Time will tell. Joe, NAPIT are so helpful. Yeah, I found them to be pretty helpful. Have you got anyone on here who's looking at starting up on your own, or you're all self-employed, got your own businesses? What sort of people, what sort of like group of people have we got on here tonight? Also, I'd like to know how you've joined this live. Have you been notified, or did you see a post that I done? And if you did, on what platform? I'm just sort of trying to gauge how I can make this grow a little bit. Any advice would be great. Marky's on his own, same as me. Good for you, Marky. Simon, notified. Notified on YouTube. Okay, cool. IDF you. Chris, sorry, Is that if you get a call back for a Zappy, does Zappy compensate you? Is that what you're saying? Dan, as I'm subscribed, it came up on your Facebook page. Well, thanks for subscribing to my channel, Theo, and thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that. Just started my apprenticeship, so glad to find a place in the industry. It was definitely tough finding people taking on these days. 100% good for you. Work really hard. Don't lose your job because you're one of the lucky ones. Plug. I'm for 30 years at a company. That's a long time. Okay, Chris. So if you get a call back for a Zappy, does Zappy compensate you? No. Well, no, because you're going to get a call back from the client if there's an issue, obviously. And you might have to go and have a look at it unless they've contacted my energy first and they've declared it as a warranty job. So you need to charge accordingly if you're going to charge. And then for the warranty work, they'll use a warranty approved installer. And if you're not, then they won't pay you. Do miss the banter though. Yeah, I know. Oh, he's back. What's involved with becoming a member of NAPIT? Basically a phone call. Phone them up. They're going to want your certificates. They're going to want to take all your money, and then they're going to want to meet up with you and go through loads of documents. They'll give you a list of everything that you need to show them. And then they'll do a site assessment, and that's basically it. You're welcome, Stephen Davies. Yeah, I'm thinking of taking the leap and going solo. Just need to find the nerve to take the plunge. Stephen, 100%. I know how you're feeling. I was thrown in the deep end. Best thing you can do is just make sure you've got a bit of money in the bank. I didn't. So anyone can do this. And just go for it, mate. Don't try and pick up evening and weekend work because you're not going to be a reliable contractor. Just get your Google page set up now. Get all those sort of marketing things. Get your website set up. And then just jump. Just do it. Also miss discussing ways of doing jobs. Yeah, 100%. That's why I like quite doing these sort of things, talking to you guys. And we can just sort of bounce ideas off each other. What advice would you give to someone wanting to work for themselves and building a good customer base? If you want to work for yourself, then you need to just jump. You need to go out there and do it because no one's going to do it for you. You're the only person holding you back. So just make that decision and do it. Make it happen. And building a good customer base, that's down to you to being reliable, presentable, doing a good job. And then you will get recommendations, build up reviews online. It's all down to you. The more you put in, the more you'll get out. If you think someone's going to help you, they're not. Okay, this guy's a busy man, obviously. Graham, I have been a Spark for over 10 years working for a company and want to start my own. What would you focus on doing first to create work and then getting your name out there? I think I just sort of covered that a little bit. If you want me to add on that, just let me know. Squaddy Spark is here. Thought it started at 7:30. No, 7 o'clock, mate. How are you? YouTube notification was in the middle of watching your latest video. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for watching that. Hope it was okay. Appreciate the advice. You're more than welcome. I've worked in security for over 30 years, but love electrics, electronics, love YouTube, love good creators. Thanks, Simon. If any of that's referring to me, thank you. I'm thinking of EV as I already have solar and want someone I can trust. I've been subscribed to your channel for some time and want to know if you cover Winchester. Christopher, I certainly do. If you drop me an email, inquiries@sota-electrical.com. You can find it on my website as well. Just drop me an email with your name, your address on it. Give me your phone number, and then I'll give you a call tomorrow. Joe, I've my own company. Well, I'm a one-man band and I've been subscribed to your channel and was notified to taking on my first apprentice after 10 years. Thanks for letting me know, Joe. Appreciate that. And you'll have to let me know how you get on with a new apprentice. What sort of scheme did that? What's that even costing you? I don't know what it even costs to have an apprentice. Mike worked for himself for years. There's a lot of us like that, isn't there? I love practical work, but the admin paperwork does scare me somewhat. Look, just be organised. Every night, just go home. Whatever job you've done, go home, get your paperwork done, get the admin done, get your certs done, get your invoicing done, all the accounting stuff done, send it off, wrap it up, job done. And then concentrate, get your quotes out the same day that you look at jobs, and then that's it. If you stay on top of it, you'll be okay. If you don't, you're going to dig yourself a massive hole. All good, thanks. Hope you're well. Yeah, very well, thank you. Chris, you've got a sheet. Love the content. Chris, thanks for joining tonight. Really appreciate it. Hopefully speak to you soon. Have a good night. Do you use Checkatrade, Yale, etc.? I highly recommend not using Yale, and I highly recommend using Checkatrade. I've had great experience with Checkatrade. I get loads of work through it. I've worked on my Checkatrade. I normally get two inquiries a day, so I can pick and choose what I do. So I know people have mixed opinions on Checkatrade. I'm a fan. Sparks overhead with failures of Zappies, EVs. Has it put you off from installing them? Honestly, a little bit. And you're going to see a shocking video this week. I'm not going to say anything more, but it's going to upset a lot of people. Gee, how long have you been a Sparky? Nearly 20 years. Started when I was just over 16. It's mad, really, when you think I'm 36 and I've been doing a job for 20 years. Do you ever get involved in heat pump wiring? Nope, not at all. I've had nothing to do with heat pump wiring whatsoever. Know nothing about it either, I'll be honest. Is that something you do? Do you recommend it? Is it worth getting into it? Let me know. Love the vids that upset people. Well, I'm not trying to upset anyone with this one. I'm trying to give advice, and it's not directly intentionally going to upset anyone, the one that I'm going to put up, but it's going to, but they won't be upset with me. Hopefully they'll appreciate that. You're always going to get the haters. We'll see. Sparky, you've been doing it since you were 16. You're now 60. Core blimey, you've done loads, haven't you? Theo, what EV charger do you like the least? Project EV. I don't like Project EV. I haven't installed one in a couple of years, but I did go through a little phase of installing quite a few, and I had nothing but issues. And it's like, once you've been bitten, you just don't go back, do you? So I've spoken to Project TV and they've told me they've ironed out all the creases. Still not doing it. How soon getting qualified do you feel someone could go out on their own? I'm currently employed full-time forces and go a little side business of spark work now and then. If I'm honest with you, it depends on your apprenticeship as well. How much experience, hands-on you got, and how much variation of work that you've done. So through my own personal experience, I don't think I would have gone on my own until I had done 10 years in total, including my apprenticeship. I actually done 13, I think it was 13 years before I went on my own. But I think after 10, you should know your stuff and you should know how to find problems and sort problems. I think anyone can do sort of new installs. It's the problem solving and the fault finding. That's where you need experience. Elliot, I love your videos. Thanks for the advice. You're welcome. Thank you for enjoying watching my videos. You love videos to clear facts, not beating around the bush or just outright bull. 100%. And that's what I'm trying to offer you guys. Any thoughts on those art boys based in Cambridge? Not really. They're doing their thing, and I think what Jordan's done, built himself up, and the audience he's created is brilliant. I appreciate how much hard work that is, but on like any sort of personal level, I haven't got an opinion. Good for them. Well done. Oh, you're a bloody good electrician, mate. Got to go as the wife needs to set up a month. See you next week. Hope you have a great day. Nice to catch up. Yeah, take care of yourself. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. You don't know if I mentioned this, but there's another Sparky you would want to work along with, even just for the day. Not really. Not if are you talking sort of like a social media sort of Sparky? Is that what you mean? Darren, good videos, mates. I've got a mate trying to get a charger installed at his flat. He has parking, but getting bounced between the council and the management company, right? I'll be honest, that job's an absolute nightmare. The council are useless and they're not going to help you if they can. And the management company, they won't either, probably, because neither of these groups of people want to take any sort of liability or responsibility for the charging of that vehicle. So the whole thing is just a nightmare. And that's time consuming as well. So I sympathise. Most of the YouTube sparks now more interested in waving their new cutters and pliers in front of the camera. Yeah, I know. Not really my thing. Do you think you'll need to specialise in things like high-end LED installs? Do you think you need to specialise in things like high-end LED installs? Looking into it seems like you either go in or void. I guess if you do specialise in it, you've sort of niched yourself a little bit, and there might be a lot of money to make in it. If you can market that right, might be worth doing. If you're looking, to niche yourself a little bit, maybe look at it, see what's involved. Yeah, social media type. I think you could get along with David Savory. I don't really follow any other social media sparks. I've spoken to a couple, but I don't really follow any. I've heard of David Savory, but I've never watched any of his videos. I don't know what he looks like. So I can't say I'd work alongside the guy. Don't know anything about him. And with regards to any other social media sparks, I don't think I'd want to do any sort of collaboration with any of them. I don't think they're really any like my sort of type, to be honest. David Savory is a god. All right, Marky, I'll check him out after this on YouTube and see who he is. When it comes to other social media people, sparks, I've got no interest in competing with any of them. I don't care about any of them. We're all just doing our own thing, and we all have our own different styles. Darren, you played about any vehicle to grid charges yet? David Savory is a legend, very knowledgeable. I have not played around with any vehicle to grid charges yet. I spoke to Indra about it last week actually. So we'll see what might happen in the future. He's the guy called out Hager for. So I spoke to someone else recently who mentioned this, and they said that him and Hager had a bit of a falling out, and it was something to do with the Bluetooth connectivity, and it wouldn't trip or something. That's what I heard. But I literally had a very short chat with someone who knows who he is. But that's all. I don't know anything else, but it sounds quite interesting. So I'll have a little look at his channel. Has he got a big following? Have you done any rapid DC installs? No, but a company got in touch with me recently asking me if I wanted to get involved. So it might be something coming up in the future. We've got 15 minutes left, lads. So if you've got any questions, just fire away. Massive. He's got a massive following. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll have a look. It's funny, really, because I post an absolute load on social media, but I don't really look at any of it myself. Wesley, any experience working for councils? None whatsoever. I don't subcontract to anyone. I don't work for builders. I don't work for estate agents. I don't work I just don't work for anyone else. All my clients are all individual, and that's how I like it, just to have the sort of one-on-one sort of relationship. Simon, what one thing could make my working day easier? Probably someone else doing it for me is the obvious answer, obviously. What can make my working day easier? You know, that really it's outsourcing work, isn't it? So outsourcing my admin, that would make my working day easier without a shadow of a doubt. I think that's about it, really. JC, currently an industrial commercial electrician, want to get into doing domestic. Where should I start? Do you work for yourself, JC? Let's answer that one first. Stephen Davies, are all the Zappy issues you're working on lately on version 1 or version 2 or both? Version 2. Graham, would you recommend just trying to build a client base through word of mouth when starting out on your own, or trying to go out through building companies, etc.? I don't think building a client base through word of mouth is the best way to do it anymore, if I'm honest with you. I think that's an old-fashioned way of doing it. Advertise your services online and you'll win work. Build up your own client base. Word of mouth will come with that, but get online. And I don't mean social media. I mean Google Business, Check a Trade. Advertise your business and your service across all sorts of different platforms. Marky, have you ever tried reporting another Sparky? No, not really. Not really interested. I'm not the electric police. If a customer's got something wrong, I'll offer to fix it. I'm not going out my way to report anyone else. Social media, what's that? Like YouTube and LinkedIn is the closer I get to social media. That is social media to me also. So maybe we're thinking the same. How are you finding Check a Trade? Check a Trade. So Check a Trade, for me, is great. I get a couple of inquiries a day. I recommend it. You need to build up some reviews though, and make sure you've got a good profile. Darren, have you installed Victron chargers on an ESS system? I'm not sure how compliant with the grid switch. I haven't installed any Victron chargers at all. What's the difference between DC chargers and AC chargers? Are AC faster? No, so your DC is going to be faster. Currently just subbing out through agencies. All right, JC, let me go back to your original question. JC, get yourself registered as a limited company or a sole trader, whatever you are. And like I've said previously, start building up your Google business page, get your Check a Trade on the way, make sure you're insured, you've got your liability, register with a competent person scheme if you're not already. And you'll find that if you advertise on like Check a Trade and things like that, you're going to pick up the domestic market. I know lots of people starting out as well. They go on they do the local Facebook business pages and community pages. I think that can help out. I personally don't use any of that. I find that the old Facebook jobs are a race to the bottom, but it might give you like a foot on the ladder in domestic where they might pass your number on, and you can start building up some reviews. But I recommend Check a Trade. Are you planning on doing this weekly? Great idea. Missed last week, was away. I'm thinking about it. As long as people are interested and want to jump on as well, then I'll do it as a weekly sort of thing as much as I possibly can. So I've got 36 people live at a minute. That's great. I'm really happy with that. If anyone else would like to do this on a weekly sort of thing, this will grow and expand, obviously. We can have better conversations, and maybe I can get one or two guys actually on the screen as well, and we can do more interactive sort of chatting. But if anyone else thinks it's a good idea, then yeah, let's do it. You love a good Q&A. Yeah, it's worth it. I think it'd be nice to maybe get someone else up here as well, put you there, and we can all just sort of chat a bit more. Maybe do sort of like a guest thing. Wesley, any advice for a 31-year-old retrader changing careers? I need to know what you're really asking me. Are you asking me and what position you're in? Are you thinking about changing careers? Have you made that decision yet? Where are you? Nice one. Okay, cool. What's everyone else's thoughts on the weekly thing? And do you think I should get a guest on at any point, or should I just leave it as me? I'd like you guys to be as honest as possible. I don't want to ruin this if it's going to be a good thing. I should do like maybe, I'm sure I can set out maybe some sort of like a voting question type thing on here maybe. Maybe I'll try and find out how to do that for next week. We've got 9 minutes left, boys. This beer is really gassy, so I apologise. Wesley, full-time forces, done my level 2. Already works at people as an improver and doing some own work already, but you mentioned 10 years slightly worries me. It's down to how you feel as well and what market you're going into. So you're working for other people as an improver as well. How are you finding that? How confident do you think you would be? You need to be at a sort of stage where you're confident enough to take on certain works, and you can also pick and choose. So if you've got a call for fault finding, to be honest, if that's not a strong point of yours, don't do that job. But you can start off simply. So take on the jobs, putting up lights, adding sockets, maybe changing a consumer unit. You can pick up those sort of works, and then as you get more experienced, then you can expand into other things that you can do. So maybe that would be the option. And by 10 years, I mean sort of like at a stage where you're prepared just to go to any job and answer any call and sort anything out. So even if you've left the forces and you start building up on your own, pick and choose maybe a little bit, be smart about what you do. If it's too much for you, be honest with yourself about that, because you don't want to look like an idiot. And just build yourself up that way, maybe, if that's sort of any help or makes sense. Yes, definitely do it weekly. Okay. What you have to ask yourself is if weekly going to be too much for you? Nothing's too much for me. What I think I'd do is I'll always put a post out saying that I'm going to do it. And if I can't do it, then there won't be a post. But I'm quite enjoying it at the minute. Like them, and it's good that we can have questions and think you should do a guest thing for the voting thing. You can make a poll. That's what I was looking for. I get like words in my head that I can't get out. So that poll was one of them. So thank you for that. Have a category specific guide outside your day to day, like solar guest, heat pump guest. Yeah, okay. That's sort of podcasting almost, isn't it? I don't want it to be a boring podcast type of thing. We're starting a social event once a fortnight locally to me, where sole traders can meet others and have a chat. And if you need a hand for a couple of days, get some phone numbers. 100%, Marky, do it. Give it a go. I'd go to something like that, because a lot of us guys who work on our own, it's quite lonely. So something like that would be nice, just to meet up with people, have a beer or whatever you want to do. Do you go on the NAPIT webinars? I do go on the NAPIT webinars, yeah. Say start as it is, then get guess. Have you seen how big the V2 grid charges? Have you seen how big the vehicle to grid charges are? Are they much bigger? I haven't seen how big they are. I'll take your advice though, Theo, and you can use StreamYard for the guest thing. I've used it before. Don't know what StreamYard is, so I'll check it out. Thanks for that. Makes sense. Already doing cookery installs, downlights, lights, fans. Haven't done a board yet. Limited, as I can do competent. Yeah, I think you're on the right track, Wesley. You're doing the right thing. Just get good at doing the things you're comfortable doing, and gradually build and grow. And if you keep in touch with me, and I'll help you out if I can, and give you any sort of advice. I do it for other people. Try and get in a little community of sparks, and you might be able to they might be able to help you out here and there. How about the good, the bad, the ugly of your working week? Give something. Yeah, okay. I could do something like that, Simon, for sure. And if you don't have to sign up to use StreamYard. Okay, fine. I'll make a note of that. StreamYard. I'm going to do that now. Car Solutions, 6mm cooker cable or 10mm for future proof. What ones are you going for? Well, future proofing, you're going to go for a 10, aren't you? StreamYard. Wesley, I'm just suffering from imposter syndrome. It's a real big. Yeah, look, Wesley, I get it. I understand. You're going to have to get over it, though. Man, Professor, I can only think of 8 or 9 cars that support bi-directional charging. Let's buy a whole bi-directional charging. I'm going to have to do a bit more research into so I can talk to you a bit more about it. King South, I would like to change my 5-meter charger lead to a 7.5-meter on my Hypervolt. Will this be expensive to do? Well, expect to obviously pay for the cable and an hour or so of labour, really, plus the testing. So what's expensive? That can mean two things. Something could mean something different to you than it does to me. Wesley, thanks. Where do I say with therapy? I'll drop you my email address. Sorry, I'm a bit black and white, a bit brutal. Two minutes left. Right, well, I think the questions are basically stopped, so I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining, everyone. King South, so roughly cost under £100 or more. That 7.5-meter cable is going to be probably more than £100 on its own. Wow, has it been an hour already? Yes, honestly, it's gone quick, hasn't it? It's been great, but I've got to go do some paperwork. See you next time. Thanks for joining, Joe. Really appreciate that. Marky, enjoyed this. Looking forward to the next one. Thanks for joining, Marky. Really appreciate that. Simon, thanks for the chat and your valuable time. Keep the videos coming. Thank you, Simon. Thanks for watching. Thanks, everyone. Time, yeah, I guess that. Wesley, what really gets me is installation testing. Okay, fine. Look, if you're working in a property that's got any sort of appliances plugged in, just do it at 250. Don't worry about doing the 500. Mike Brooks. Theo, thanks for the chat. Thank you for joining in. Stephen Davies, cheers, buddy. See you on the next one. Thanks for joining, everyone. Really appreciate it. If you've got any tips or anything else you want to see or speak to, drop me a message or a comment in this or something, and then I'll see what I can sort out. Have you got your glass under a lager tub? Thanks for Q&A. Keep the videos coming. Thank you, Mad Professor, for joining. Marky. Cheers, everyone. King South, love your uploads. Keep them coming. We'll do. Darren, nice one, mate. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a good night. Great to see you all. See you next week.